All right, so it is getting recorded now. Yeah. So we were talking about the political beat. So as compared to the local politicians, when we talk about the journalists covering the state level politics, they speak to the the state legislator, people who are working with the state assemblies, as well as the state or units of political parties. So all political parties are housed in all the important cities of the country, and there they are. They get in touch with these people, ask about their opinions on matters that are being discussed in the parliament, or the acts that are going to be made, or the kind of debates that are going on in the parliament. Because when the parliament is in session in India, it is in session for at least 2 months or so. So there is a winter session, there is a monsoon session, there are various 4 5 sessions during the year. And accordingly, the political reporter, when he's operating on a state level, is supposed to be talking to various people like the state heads of political parties, the state legislator, the state government, as well as the central government. So similarly, when you're operating at the national bureau level, the it is more about the center-state relations that you try to dig in as a political reporter. And then what are the international conferences that are taking place? What have been the themes of those conferences, and how it can be of any use to the country? Then we are also talking about international relations here, because this is the national bureau. We are looking at it more holistically. It has to know uh, where to raise a question, what platforms are available for this person who's working at the national bureau to raise questions on. So okay, having said this, there is when we talk about the news gathering for so for political reporters and the sources for political reporters, all these places that we just mentioned and discussed, all of them become the sources for a political reporter. Then political news writing is also there. You are going to find this easy when we talk about political news writing. We're talking about press conferences and interviews, things that we've already covered or discussed in the previous sessions. So I'm imagining that this is something that you'll be able to do on your own. Please run through this, and then you would know whether uh, like, who do you speak to when it is about an interview or when it is about a press conference? How do you ask questions? What sort of questions should be raised in a conference as compared to those in an interview? Need to be known. And then there are meetings and special events that political parties would invite media to, and that is what all those so are the sources of your information. Then it is about types of meeting stories. How are you going to write an opening for a story? How are you going to close a story? Is all for the news reporter to gather. And with that, we end with the political reporting bit. The next we will start crime reporting. Okay. Um, what is the basic political structure in your particular country? I would like to know from you. So please, and in a few steps, very, very, keep them very short, whether there's a democracy or not. In case there's a democracy, how do people function, and how does politics get covered in your country? Is something I'd like to know from you. So just take 5 minutes and respond back. Also, please keep your answers very short. So let there be bullets, but no lengthy explanations. How is politics reported in your country? That's it.
Um,
Yes, please, Abu Bakr, tell me.
All right, Abubakar Sadiq. Um, in Nigeria, where I am, there are three. We are operating a federal system of government which operates in three levels: the federal government, the state level, and the local government level. and then we have our uh, uh, a commission, independent commission who monitors election and all in Nigeria. And then we have reporters at all the levels, which report various activities of the politics and politicians at all level, at the state level, at the local level, and at the national level. Just like what you just explained, at the national level, you talk about things that are happening in the national, in the broader perspective, and then our relations, our own international relation policies, across and all. And basically, Nigeria is operating a democracy, and there are levels of freedom to journalists as to reportage and how they go about, and I can say this there are level of influence in the way journalists report activities, but generally they are doing good. They're doing good. But as I mentioned earlier, because I wrote a paper on political reporting in Nigerian newspapers, uh, journalists or newspapers in Nigeria do report things of. They don't act as a watchdog, as the fourth realm, as they are of holding government accountable. They usually report the activities of political parties and activities of government and all, without necessarily checkmating what the government are doing. That's majorly what's happening. But then there are some newspapers that are doing that, doing the watchdog function. I think basically uh, that's my contribution. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Is there somebody else? Nupong, yes, please.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Just like my colleagues from Nigeria said, in Ghana, in terms of political reporting, we media try to be fair and do I say balance? But there's no balance here. They try to be fair, and there's this fairly representation and fairly coverage for all the political parties. For example, when we enter into political campaigning period, each of the media houses assign at least one reporter to each of the political candidates, especially the presidential. You follow the person who follow them from the start of the campaign till the last day of the public campaign. So they will cover whatever event they are carrying on until the last days of the campaign. And also, most of these political parties also have their own media houses, and so
Oh,
it is so easy for them to use their own media houses to propagate their own agenda. So, for example, if maybe a political party is having a rally, their media house, it could be a radio, it could be a television or on online, they carry live. But if that political party does not own a political party, they always get the second-hand reports. So that is how unfair it is. And so in that system, it projects the one that has media houses more than the one that do not have a political media house. And for example, in Ghana, we have independent presidential candidates. And
and
because they are
we
one
lost
man,
your voice.
they hardly occasions you see media houses giving them coverage, especially the national media houses try to give them coverage so that they can balance out. But the balance is not always fair, and it has always
Yeah.
been projecting the opposition and the ruling. And in Ghana, we have major two political parties: the the ruling party and the major opposition party, and that is MPP and then NDC, and they are the only major political party that are champion. Others are minors and they are given less reportage than this. But fairly enough, all of them give access to every media house, either from opposition or for a ruling party. So the coverage is really fair. But as to whether the language that is used by journalists to report the news is fair enough is another debate that we can talk about. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Napong. This was quite an insight. Even in India, we do not have a very balanced kind of reporting. So there are some that will work only for the government and will even try to cover the misdeeds, while there are others who would like to report correctly. And then they also have to face the music, because then the government comes down heavily on those media houses. As a result, many of our, credible journalists, seasoned journalists, have shifted to their own platforms on YouTube. So, a lot of news, if people want to see good news today, standardized news, news that has all the news elements and news values and is credible, is truthful, people turn to social media. They don't watch television anymore. So, that is it. With that, we come to the end of political reporting. The next unit we are going to catch up is crime reporting. And while we are talking crime, there are, okay, when we are going through all of them, all these reporting beats one by one, you would find that there is certain level of commonality in all. Like, whatever reporting you're doing, it should be more credible. There should be, the quotation of sources should be quoted and attributed, and you should try and make it balanced and fair. So those are the basic things which hold good for all sorts of reporting, be it crime, be it sports, be it politics, anything. So that ways you are going to find the all we are discussing now in today's class and in the next one would be the various areas, various beats of reporting. So you would find a lot of commonality in there. Yet, at the risk of repeating myself, I would just run through the content here. And okay, this unit begins with defining what is crime and what is code and what is police. So I don't think I need to really define crime. Those are the things that you understand very well. And for more references, you can turn on to this unit and you would know how, we are defining crime and how we are defining code, like a place where trials on various proceedings takes place, or where there's one person as a judge whose word is the last word. So all that is given here. Also, we are talking about how we're defining police. Like it says, police is a body of government employees trained in various methods to enforce the law and prevent crime, and detection and authorization to maintain peace is given to them. So that is what the police is. So with that basic understanding, when we talk about the what are the essential aspects that a crime reporter must have, then the role of crime reporter becomes important. And amongst those roles, the prime and the most important is to create awareness. So reporting a crime is something which is required to make people aware of different types of crime. Like, say for example, people wouldn't know if they're not using it, but there's so much of cyber crime happening on various kinds of websites, not just banking related, also safety and security related, children related, leading to human trafficking, leading to drug abuse, and leading to um, a murder or a crime here and there through dating sites. So all those things are very much prominent and popular now, no, prevalent now. So when we are talking about the role of crime reporter, the crime reporter has to see, like I was in my initial lessons talking about nose for news. So this crime reporter has to have that nose for news and figure out what are the, what kind of cases should be presented in the media. So the idea is to create awareness, to educate people. What do you do if all your bank balance is swiped off? Just because you exchanged some OTP, what happens? So education, information, what is the, so say for example, we have a UID, unique identity card, which is issued to all the citizens. We call it Aadhaar. Okay, what happens if you lose your Aadhaar? Where is that information coming to us from? So that kind of information also media is supported to give us, along with motivating people, as to sensitize people to help each other and to be aware of things that can go wrong. Just be aware. So various kinds of positive trends, various kinds of negative trends have come into picture, especially after the coming of digital media. So when we talk about the positive trends, it includes more informative. Obviously, we have so many sources of information that we're almost suffering from information overload these days. And precisely the reason why we're not turning to television for news anymore, it's only the social media. And then it is more investigative in nature, because there are crime stories are essentially investigative. Until and unless the the reporter himself or herself doesn't want to do it, it has to be something which comes up with crucial facts of the crime that has taken place, which makes people aware of what went wrong. And then it is more engaging, it is more speedier, because these are the positive trends. Because with the coming up of technology, with the way things are becoming in a globalized world, these are the advantages of it. And of course, the follow up becomes more easy. As compared to this, when we talk about the negative trends, we are looking at dramatization. There is so much of drama all over social media on everything. One comment out of place and the person gets trolled and whatever else. Then there is so much of exaggeration on the same point, because you're getting the opinions from so many different people. The same point keeps getting exaggerated. There is greater sensationalization of stories. Now this has been the factor which has been driving the researchers and people who criticize media crazy, because sensationalism is something which is very unbecoming of media, and it does it purely for the purpose of revenue, to increase their TRP or their circulation, whatever. So sensationalization is one negative trait. Then we also have media trial. When you read this course on media laws and ethics, you will come across what media trial is. Maybe all of you must be having a fair idea of media trials. To just tell you in short, media trial is something when we are trying to pronounce a judgment on someone before the judiciary has done it. So in a way, we are trying to influence the minds of the people while it is still in the court of law. The case is still in the court of law. So that is called media trial, and it is supposed to be unethical on the part of media people to be doing this. And then there is also telephonic reporting. Like the other day, we were talking about the electronic media newsroom setup, and we were talking about phone-ins, as in people calling in to discuss, or people calling in to present their views, because the anchor who is sitting in the studio would call out various experts. So that is telephonic reporting also. Also, what you would see is there is one reporter in the studio, the other one on field. So through phone-ins, a reporter is sending in fresh news live. That too happens. And then complete dependence on the system for getting information, or for getting any sort of information whatsoever. So we're all very dependent on media. We're all very dependent on technology. That is it. Other than this, the aspect that we are going to talk about in terms of crime reporting is how do we look at various kinds of crimes. So how do we divide it on the basis of subjects? When we are talking about the subject division of crime, it could be incidents that happen. Somebody siphoned off money from someone's bank account. That is an incident. There are accidents, and there are events being reported. Events like the police headquarters holds a press briefing. That is an event. And then new policies or technologies are coming in to deal with crime, to help people navigate better in times of need, etc. So that is on the basis of subject. The other is on the basis of medium. When I say medium, it could be the way crime news is being covered and how it is being portrayed in different media. Okay, so not cyber, crime. Crime reporting for print media is so different from crime reporting for the radio and the television. So while in a print you only have text, maybe a photograph with a caption to show you something. In TV, we have an audiovisual medium, so it is more elaborate, and it is a cooler medium. Like a cooler medium is a medium which will allow you to make your own meaning out of something, as compared to pressing some sort of meaning on yourself, which happens with text, because the text is telling you what happened, how to think. And when we talk about the audiovisual, it is only showing you what happened, and it leaves the space for you to do some fresh thinking on your own. No pre-digested meaning is available for you. And then, of course, after the medium, we look at various sources of crime reporting. So there can be both official and unofficial sources. I think when you go through this unit, you will understand all of it, because it talks about the police press release, it talks about police press conference, then PRO office, then emergency data gets collected. There are some emergency numbers in all countries. Like if you want to ring up the police in India, it is 100, 100. So whenever you ring up 100, the police PCR van records your message, gets back to you, gets in touch, intercepts your phone, and then comes over. So police stations, when okay, a lot of people who cover crime go to police stations and figure out what are the new crime stories from the diary, in which the complaints are taken. So those are the various official sources. Also, there are many others, but when you go through it, you will know. And there are some unofficial sources also, like the victim, like a witness, like somebody who is in the know of things but is not. So, say for example, the secretary of the inspector general of police. So he is not supposed to be saying anything to the media. Nevertheless, he is a person who knows what's going on. So that's one unofficial one. Then there are police informers also. There is social media also. That is what we're talking about here. Okay, so with that, we come to the end of this unit on crime reporting. It is pretty much simple, and I don't think there should be any problem in understanding these units. Only you have to go through it and read it. And wherever you think you are not able to place yourself well enough, look at the perspective from your country, not from India's perspective. And this brings to the last two units of this block, which will be sports and legal reporting. Let's take a 5-minute break and then I'll join again. Hello, everybody. I'm back, and now we'll be discussing two more units. One is sports reporting, and the other one too. When we talk about sports reporting, you have to know how sports operates in your country, like and the kind of games that people aspire for, like from the local level or regional level games up to the Commonwealth, Asian, and the Olympics. So you will, when you open this unit, you will come across some brief history, and you will come across the evolution of how sports happened and stuff like that. So that is just for your knowledge and for your information. Other than that, when you talk about how sports is important, why it has become important, and what benefits are there, that's something that you need to know. And sports reporting, in when we look at the section on sports reporting, we see that it covers the growing coverage of sports in the country, and print media, how it covers sports. So earlier, with the amount of space that was dedicated in newspapers has now increased, as in it has become a 2 to 3 pages coverage in about sports in print media, especially the daily newspapers. And then there's also radio and TV. TV these days buys rights for any sports like IPL. Um, Now, IPL is something for which you have to buy rights to be able to show it on your channel, and those rights are exclusively yours. So, if it is something very like the Asian Games or some important 2020 things like that, then people, the various channel owners buy rights for it, and those matches are available only on those channels, as a result of which, and that helps them make money. So when you go through these sections of what's given here, you will be able to look into the history of how things have evolved over a period of time. So once upon a time in my country, people did not give a lot of importance to sports. They precisely looked at everything else, but the idea of playing, bringing in medals, bringing in glory was something which was more a fun idea. It was not serious life. So, and the way things are changing, like with the coming of this regime, they promoted sports in a way that people from the rural belt are also able to come and participate in important events, things that were just beyond their purview, things about which they did not even know, despite them being amazing runners or players or whatever. So government initiatives have increased, because people's interest in sports, various kinds of sports. Earlier it was just cricket, now it is also hockey, it's also women's cricket, it's also wrestling, and so on and so forth. So with that, the growing interest has led to greater coverage of sports in all media whatsoever. In fact, these days, even on Facebook, we get short reels that talk about how somebody won an event, or what laurels have they brought to the country, etc. So there are certain skills and qualities of sports reporters that are given here. Like, say for example, one has to be passionate about sports. Usually a sports reporter doesn't only have to know one sport. It has to be a blend of 2 3 important ones, like it could be badminton and football and cricket, or it could be wrestling and swimming and something else. So this has to be a package deal. Otherwise, nobody is ready to pay a sports reporter an entire month's salary when all one is going to cover is a few events during the year. So it is presumed that people should come with greater qualifications. And then one has to also understand the economy of sports. A lot of money has become involved in sports these days, and IPL is a fair example. So it's about it doesn't even look at which country players are playing. It is just about who do we bet for, and then we form a team. This team is competing against another team, which again has nationals from various countries. The players are from different countries, so there is a certain kind of exchange of money going on. promotions, sponsoring of events, sponsoring of players, that also happens. And then of course advertisements take them as brand ambassadors and all. So the economy of sports has become very wide, multifarious, and has started talking on various other aspects, which has started making sports important. Then what is also important is knowledge about the rules of the game, the terminologies, the lingo and vocabulary, that is important. And one should be able to cultivate sources in the sports fraternity. There should be a good command over language, because if you're you're commenting upon something, or if there is a running commentary going on, you should be, as a part of your coverage, you have to do some commentary as well, which is only possible if you are good with your language. And then of course nose to news is important. Creativity and curiosity, how beautifully are you capturing and how beautifully are you presenting, is the key, be it print or electronic. And then knowledge of sports laws is also important. Under which circumstances do we call for the third umpire? What is leg before wicket? So various other such things that a person must know about when you're talking sports. And then multitasking is important too, because you quickly have to get the interview of the captain of the team that won. You also have to look at the important aspects of the game. You also have to cover the star attractions of the game. The beautiful catch or the beautiful goal must be captured. So that is important. And then, of course, understanding the perspective of audience is necessary. What do people want? What is true? What is objective? So those fairness values obviously creep in. So that is it for sports reporting. And then you will also come across certain trends, like I have, while I was talking about what kind of a reporter should a sports reporter be, I was also talking about what is expected of a sports reporter. So those are some what is expected comes from the emerging trends in sports reporting. So that is it. With that, we give over with this unit. And we come to the last unit of this block, which is legal reporting. And this will cover a number of legal aspects only, because it is going to talk about what the glossary, what are the legal terms and terminologies. It is going to talk about the precautions that are necessary in legal reporting, like civil contempt and contempt of court and criminal contempt, scandalizing the court, so on and so forth. So, uh, and then what are the journalistic defenses? A number of times, what people do is they do whatever truth has been reported, they take it as defamation. So under certain circumstances, you can find some journalistic defenses which will come to your aid. And like, say for example, earlier truth was a defense. If something is true, it has to be brought out. But the latest amendment in the law of the country says that truth is no defense. Truth doesn't mean that the media must bring it out. So this unit talks about legal reporting as an art. It talks about the wings of change and how, over a period of time, how technology has developed, photography and its art has developed, and hence, the way court was covered has also been become different now. And then the court beat, basic knowledge for a legal reporter, as in which cases have been fought, what kind of background information you should gather while you're covering a case, and how you should, cover a case. What are the things that you should quote? For which are the important points for which it is necessary that you provide some sources? Which are the ones that only as you, having heard it or seen it, will just pass through? So those are the things which are important. And then there is a whole list of glossary, legal glossary, which you should go through. Uh, After this, we are going to talk about news sources for legal reporters. And news sources would be everybody who is in present in the court and whoever is ready to speak with you. So majority of the times it is the two parties who are going to um, fight each other. So it is the reporter's success in the coverage of court, and it depends on the contacts and the sources and one's ability to gain access quickly to the records. So for a reporter, a key person in a court is could be maybe the clerk in the court who prepares and keeps the records. So she can make available the copies of transcripts for a certain fee. So that is one. Then one should, as a legal reporter, it is not unusual for parties and lawyers to approach a journalist and present their case. So if they see that their understanding in media about their case is not correct, they might just approach the media themselves and may try to uh, give some clarity on it. Then a legal reporter should also have adequate knowledge of the different stages of civil or criminal proceedings. So there are certain civil proceedings while others are criminal proceedings. So where one can appeal and how one can get more information, what are the sources, is important for the reporter to know. If you're covering a major trial, it is important that you uh, get a seat where you're able to see everything that's going on and record on camera. So usually it is the very important cases in the courtrooms which become crowded with people. So more and more people want to know about it and listen to it. Then also we talk about in a similar way we talk about the coverage of a trial, as in when not lawyers, the journalists take notes and then they go back and they check for themselves which acts have been repealed, what is being what are the laws that are being applied to this case, etc. And then with an informed uh, background information they are able to come up with the story. So, what are the essential things if you are a court reporter? What are the essential things that you must have? It is going to be what the case is about, who are the two parties who are fighting the case, the names and addresses and place of origin, etc. It could be the offenses with which they are charged. What is the plea of both the dependent, the defendant, whether it is guilty or not guilty, and of course you need to know the court where it is being heard. Then the name of the judge or the magistrate needs to be known, and the names of the lawyers of the both parties should be known, and the rest would be on the proceedings, whatever proceedings are happening in the court. So try and wherever you are making an important consideration about what is it that you're going to write, then you make sure that you're making use of inverted commas in it, because whenever you're making use of inverted commas you are directly disposing yourself of any kind of responsibility of what was said. So if you say that the judge said this and inverted commas, or if the lawyer said this and inverted commas, you are absolved from your responsibility. At the same time, it also makes it more credible because you're providing some information in inverted. Then there are also certain precautions that are necessary in legal reporting. This could be the civil contempt. Now, this means civil contempt means disobedience of anything that the court wanted you to adhere to. So that is one thing. Then there is criminal contempt. Criminal contempt basically means that publication of any matter or doing of any act which scandalizes the authority of the court or prejudices the court, interferes with its proceedings, is a criminal contempt of court. Then, what do we mean by scandalizing the court? Publication of matter which creates doubts about the ability or fairness of a judge in court is scandalizing the court. Trial by media, I already told you about media trial. And there can be ample cases too. In fact, while you're preparing for your exams, please make sure that you also dig out a few cases of media trial from your country or any other. And it will be useful whenever you're writing this paper on reporting techniques, because then it'll help you cite. questions may be asked on citing a case of media trial and why it is unethical, stuff like that. Uh, while there are so many rules to adhere to for a legal reporter, there are also certain journalistic defenses. Now, these defenses are actually the reason how people can protect themselves. The journalists can protect themselves. Like, say, for example, fair comment. Whenever whatever has been reported is a fair comment, it is not punishable. So the matter depends on the facts and circumstances of each case. To comment on the correctness of a judicial decision, whether or law or facts, is not contempt. Okay, so if you think that an act has been overlooked or there is a rule that has been overlooked by the judge, and if you say so, that is not something which is a contempt of court. So that is one journalistic defense. The other is heard and finally decided. A fair comment on the merits of a case, I'm reading from your unit. A fair comment on the merits of the case can be made when it is heard and finally decided. A case cannot be said to have been finally decided until the period of limitation for filing appeal has expired. So a judgment has been made, and maybe within 2 months of time, you can make a fresh appeal to a higher court of law. Once that period has expired, then on the basis of the merits of the case and what judgment has been made, you can write a story, and nobody is going to haul you up for this. Third is ignorance of pendency. If a court story interferes with the course of justice, but its reporter had no reasonable ground to assume that the proceedings were pending, then nobody will be held guilty for contempt of court. So, if it is that the case was pending for a very long time, which happens, especially in a country like India, where there are so many cases that everybody is fighting, so there can be pendency of cases. And if it has been overlooked and a case has been built in media, one cannot punish the media. And then, of course, the fifth defense is fairness and accuracy of your report. If you think what you've written is fair and accurate and there's nothing to hide, then the media or the media person cannot be punished for it. So, this is it. Okay. Then there are also some in-camera proceedings. Like when I was talking about the parliamentary reporting, I said that there can be times when the speaker of the Lok Sabha, the upper house or the lower house of the parliament, can say, can ask the media people to close their cameras and not record a particular small bit of it. Similarly, there are certain in-camera proceedings whenever the case is very sensitive, and there can be, a reason why somebody who is deposing in the court can get killed or can change their statement. At such times, for sensitive and important cases, we do in-camera proceedings also. Also, the same is done when, uh, you know, uh, mm, when openly you're not asking the people to speak up in court, and suppose the case is very sensitive, say for example it concerns a woman, then she may be asked to give her statement in the chamber of the judge, right? And that also can be recorded. So this is about the legal reporting, and I with that we come to the end of this unit and also the end of this block. We have covered it pretty early because as it is, there is nothing new in all sorts of reporting. It's just that one flavor is different from the other, but they're all ice creams. So we are left with one more block, after which this course is going to give over, and let's hold it on Monday 3 to 5. What's it? 16th of October, last class.
Okay.
Okay. Fine. Okay. I'm so sure that you must be finding this simpler, easier. It's just that you have to, get into various aspects of the reporting. So on Monday, we will deal with the last bit of this, and then reporting techniques would get over for you. So, and you will follow the schedule as it is given for the rest of the courses, the way the teachers must be telling you. Any questions? Anything that you want to ask?
Okay.
Yes, please.
Yes. Okay. So we're talking about fair comment. For example, when you are reporting from court, who determine what fair comment means or to?
No. A fair comment is when you are, not creating a rumor of your own. You are making a comment based on the judgment, based on the facts, or based on the facts that have been tabled, in the code of law. On the basis of that, when you're making a fair comment, the so and so should be, this builder should be prosecuted because the builder has grabbed the land from the farmers, and that is where they're constructing a new building. Then that is a fair comment because you have proofs to show that this land belongs to the farmers, which has been taken by the builder, and he's now constructing, who's a moneyed person, and he's now constructing a building over it. And this case is in court. So this is called a fair comment, where your own judgment is not coming in between and where you are able to support it all with facts. Am I clear?
Yes, sorry. I was muted when I was talking. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Very clear.
Welcome. Mr. Olubaleke, yes, please.
Yes, I want you to differentiate between fair comment and the interpretation of court proceedings. What is the difference?
Yes. Interpretation of court proceedings means that you're not adding anything specific on your own. Okay, you're not interpreting it. You're just saying that this is what happened in the court today. So this particular XYZ, Mr. XYZ was present. He gave his statement. The statement was recorded. And the judge was of the view that if there is no counter statement, we will take a decision in the next hearing. This is what you are reporting. Whatever you saw, whatever happened there, you're reporting. When it is about making a fair comment, it is about the power of analyzing facts, which the reporter is going to do based on the based on whatever is presented. Your phone is ringing, Mr. Oliver. Yeah. Based on whatever facts are with you, on the basis of that, when you interpret, when you analyze as to what should be the correct way of doing this, or what should be, what should not be, because you are an opinion leader as a reporter. And your opinion will be followed by all those who are reading your article or who are, viewing your package on TV or whatever. So hence, that is a fair comment, which must be made in the light of proof, in the light of evidence, in the light of whatever has happened in the court. So one is just reporting. The first one is just reporting of an event that is happening in the court proceeding. And the other is analyzing and interpreting it for your readers. This is the difference. Am I understood?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions so far?
The last time I was asking a question, but I was not able to get your feedback. Maybe we are going to get a hard copy of the materials, the course materials. I don't just know. I just want to be sure. Maybe we are going to get it, or we are just going to work on the soft copies. Thank you, ma'am.
So there will only be soft copies which will be uploaded on the LMS. And the understanding is that we are not into hard copies anymore. So there would only be soft copies. If you are more comfortable with hard copies, probably you'll have to take prints on your own. IGNU wouldn't be providing any hard copies.
All right. Thank you.
Right. Welcome.
Take care.
Okay, so we meet on Sunday then. Oh, sorry, on Monday, 16th of October, same time, 3 to 5. Yeah. Bye-bye, everybody.
All right. Thank you.
Bye bye. Thank you so much.